To all the other trans people out there, I will come out from under your bed, steal your gender, and break your window and jump out. Goodbye. I hope you have a nice life.
Be gay, do trans.
I'm not going to get monetized for this. I just wanted to ask you, what's the best part about being gay?
Being free, because you can do what you want. You don't gotta follow gender roles. You're gonna follow all that dumb shit that people follow. You do what you want to do. It's individuality.
Subscribe now or else. Come on.
What do you identify as?
I'm non-binary and queer, just queer.
Just like umbrella term gay and demigirl.
What do you think is so misunderstood about the LGBTQ community?
Consensual relationships between adults and exploration of gender are not child grooming.
We don't care about anybody else, really.
Why do you want to see all the homophobes out there?
No matter where you go, you're gonna see somebody like me. So get over it.
Do you think it's okay for 12-year-olds to be exposed to Pride?
Respectfully, I think that they should be exposed to it because it's the world that they live in. There are certain events like the parade I don't think are good for kids.
Where everyone is dancing and they're showing kind of exposed body parts. Do you think it's okay for kids to be exposed to that at a Pride event?
I think it's fine just because you're not only just exposing them to equality and being accepted, but also, more body positivity.
Why do you think the Pride Parade was not a good place for children?
Lasciviousness. There's a lot of nakedness. There's a lot of Pride Parade is like more expressive, and so there's just a lot more going on.
Is Pride a place for kids?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure. I was a kid once, and having this and the resources would have definitely helped me avoid some of the problems that I saw in myself.
Do you think Pride is a place for kids?
10 years old, because that's when I was in 3rd grade and I took sex ed then. And if I'm able to learn about a penis and vagina during that time, then why can't a kid learn about what straight, cis, and all that other stuff is? That if you're going to teach about one gender to 3rd graders, you might as well teach all of them.
If you were to have a 10-year-old kid and would you bring them with you to a Pride Parade?
Absolutely. At some point they're going to be exposed to that in their lives, whether or not that's on part of the parent to bring them to that, or if it could be something they're going to find out themselves.
Is 10 the most appropriate age to bring a kid?
Yeah. Really it comes down to how you're able to have those conversations with your kid and whether or not they're emotionally capable of having those conversations.
A 12-year-old kid, say they want to transition, so they come up to you and they're like, hey, Dad, I'm thinking about switching genders. What would you say to them?
That actually happened recently where one of my best friends from back home, her younger brother, was coming out as non-binary, and they had been out of the closet as non-binary for honestly a year, but their parents weren't really accepting of it.
Who do you think the number one enemy of the LGBTQ community is?
Society. Get over it. Your son's gay, your uncle's gay, your brother's gay, your wife's gay, your husband's gay. All of them are gay.
What do you want to tell all the homophobes out there?
Feel uncomfortable.
Nobody cares what y'all say. It's not going to stop anybody from being themselves. That's what I say to the homophobes.
What do you want to say to all the homophobes out there?
Stop being poor.
Who's the number one enemy of the LGBTQ community?
Religious groups, I'd say, just because they oppress people who still want to seek religion in their sexuality. Muslims, Christians, all of that. They still love God. They still, are in their religion, but it rejects them so bad. So I'm going to say religion.
Do you think you could be a good Christian and be gay at the same time?
Yes. I think there is a very strong line to define religion and sexuality, but I know a lot of gay people, they are Christians, they're very accepting.
Do you think you could be a good Christian and gay at the same time?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because I know gay Christians, and I think that they're some of the best people I know.
Do you think it's possible to be a good Christian and be gay at the same time?
Absolutely. You can love God and pray and expect that God will, abode in you abundantly, whether you're gay or not, because a lot of them have tried to pray it away. And what do you do when that doesn't happen? You still love God.
Do you think Republicans hate gays?
Yes, I do.
Why?
They're very conservative. They have conservative values. Based on their Christianity, They believe that homosexuals are going to hell.
And what would you say is the number one enemy for the LGBT community right now?
Policies and politicians that are pushing anti-trans legislation and rhetoric through media or through the court systems.
Who's doing that?
House representatives have been bringing legislation to the floor, like over 500 pieces in the past few months, and it's only been 6 months of 2023. So the fact of the matter is they're targeting people that they know they can, people that don't have other people to fight for them right now and don't have the full support of every part of the administration.
If you like the content here, you need to like, subscribe, watch, and keep coming back for more content, or else I'll come back for you.
Who do you think the number one enemy of the LGBTQ community is?
I would say maybe Trump.
Why does Trump hate gay people?
I think he hates everyone, really. The only person he loves is himself.
Do you think Republicans support LGBTQ?
Only if they're conservative. If you're conservative and you're in the closet, then it works for them. If at the moment you want to live out loud in any type of way, you're going to be chastised, bullied, even in government, bullied, all of that. I think it's only acceptable because guess what? There are a bunch of them in government. They just keep their lives very separate, and it's a veil.
Got it. And what would you say is the number one enemy of the LGBT community?
I think just hate and people misunderstanding. So I think people have been indoctrinated with views or beliefs that are hateful and rigid, and they have their own insecurities and they project that onto others, and I think that's where it comes from. So they hold on to what they know and feel secure in, and what they don't understand, they just attack.
What would you say is the number one enemy of the LGBTQ community?
Lack of education or miseducation, because most people want to do good. It's just that when they're kept being fed that being gay is a sin and all this stuff, then they start to hate against it. And because a lot of people refuse to actually try to look into information and just follow Facebook, that's what leads them to start committing violence. So a lot of them do believe that what they're doing is good. It's just that at the end of the day, what they're only listening to their echo chamber.
What's your most controversial opinion?
I feel like for minorities, they get more hate from other people within their race. So black people, Hispanic people within the queer LGBT area who are also part of minority get more hate from their own people because they represent them, and it's all just stupid shit.
You think Trump hates gays?
Absolutely.
Why?
They scare him. In a while, we won't be the minority, and it's going to be an acceptable part of culture. You can't control us.
Do you think Donald Trump hates gays?
Absolutely. Yes, I do.
Why?
Because if you can spew as much vitriol as he does on every other minority, ethnicity, or subgroup within the population as he has, you can clearly see he's not for anything but himself and making sure he gets more power at the end of the day.
What do you identify as?
I'd say hetero-flexible, trying to figure it out.
When did you realize?
Probably in this past year. I was married for 6 years. I got divorced. So I was okay, let me just explore and feel what I'm going to vibe with energy, with people, and I'm just letting that navigate itself.
What are you exploring right now?
Gender, sexuality. I'm actually, I've always, just been typically cis and straight, and I'm just today, pride, might as well see what's not being that.
Was there anything that your ex-husband did to just really just be I'm so done with this?
He just didn't show up. It was essentially I was mothering a child. Right. So everything from financially, emotionally, romantically, it's I was elevating and then he was kind of staying stagnant. And I had to realize that there's only so much control and influence I can have on a person. And he was going to stay the way he is. So I had to be am I okay with this partner for the rest of my life, or do I need to step away and do what's best for me and figure out what I need?
And when did you realize you were gay?
Probably around 5 years old. Yeah.
And what was that experience like?
A bit different. I grew up in Brazil, so it was a bit conservative at the time. So I couldn't really tell anyone until I moved to the US, and that's when I really accepted myself.
Ever since I was little, I remember I never wanted to really get married, and until that I realized being gay was a thing. And then I was actually, that's more what I want to do.
You identify as?
I identify as lesbian. I'm the L in the LGBT.
When did you find out you were lesbian?
I first noticing girls when I was in middle school. And it was weird for me, in the locker room, and I was why am I looking extra hard? I thought it was wrong.
What do you identify as?
I identify as a cisgender gay male.
And when did you realize you were that?
8 years old when I was thinking about it, and I was I don't think I like girls as much as I probably should at this point. And I had a very masculine older brother, so he's 9 years older, wrestler, football player. So like knowing that was the difference, I kind of realized.
And was there like any specific event, or was it just as you spent more time with your friends, you realized you like guys more than girls?
Honestly, just spending time with my friends. It wasn't a specific event per se.
To express yourself, to be free, to live out loud, baby. Do what you want to do, and also explore the options.